All right, so our next term is LTV, which stands for the loan to value ratio. And you're going to see this a lot when, especially if you're going to be dealing with lenders and banks, which most of us are. So basically, a lender's going to tell you what percentage of the acquisition price they can loan to, right? So if we use, for example, a $100,000 house, the lender might say, hey, Mr. Buyer, you're going to have to put down 30%, and we're going to give you a 70% loan to value loan, right? So in that example, you would put down $30,000 and the lender would lend you $70,000. Now, this ratio can depend on a lot of different things, including your financial strength, the type of lender you might be dealing with, and the type of property you might be dealing with. So, there could be LTVs can range from anywhere as low as 50% to as high as 90 and even 95% on some owner-occupant instances. So it's really important to understand the different scenarios, the different types of lenders, and your personal situation when trying to figure out what the right LTV is.
Yeah, LTV is a term that's going to be used in your real estate investment career over and over and over again. This is one of those more important terms that you really need to understand. It's a really simple calculation, as Lior mentioned. $100,000 property, you owe $70,000 on a property. It's a $70,000 70% loan to value ratio, right? It also comes into play when if I can back up, there's a lot of old school thinking, right? If you lived in the 1950s and 1960s, the goal back then was to stay on your job, pay off your mortgage, and retire to a point where you had no debt whatsoever. If you know anything about the movement of money or the velocity of money, you want to re-leverage yourself out there. So let's say, for instance, that same $100,000 property, you owed $30,000 on it, right? Right now you have a 30% loan to value ratio. Knowing that most banks would lend up to 70 or 80% LTV, you have the opportunity to go out and borrow, $40,000 to $50,000 on that asset, assuming that the rents cover. That $50,000 can now be taken and re-leveraged to go buy another property. So LTV is going to be something that's used over and over again and something you definitely need to be familiar with.